Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 7th. It's May. It's 2026. All those things are completely debatable, but you know what? Nobody seems to care, so why debate it? At any rate, what is up to Jab Neil 7? And what's up, JS from Boston? What's up, brother? Diana M, what's up? Scott Lomas, what is up, brother? I don't know what that says. What's up? Tess, what's up? Good to see you as well. The Force 9591, what is up, man? End Times Calling, what is up? I already clicked that one. Ryan Holbrook, what's up, brother? Amelia, what is up? Sir Knighted, what is up? Husker Dude 32, what's up? Poopy Pants 77, what's up? These are some high caliber name. Bill Camps, what's up, man? Jared Ritter, AZ Flat, Bivouac Waltz, Teresa. Ernie Dial, what's up, brother? Ernie sends me a lot of good information a lot of times. RJCJR10. What am I even saying? This right or wrong? RJCJR10 at yahoo.com. I am. Energy lockdowns? Yeah, it's going to be worse than that, dude, because do you remember what happened right before COVID? Do you remember what was going on? There were protests absolutely every place. Every place there were protests. Remember that? Worldwide. They were all over the place. The yellow vest, blah, blah, blah. People freaking out, people knocking over things, breaking shit. And they were not feeling the government anymore. And then suddenly, out of the blue, they conjured up COVID-19. And I mean, I'm not saying this for any other reason other than it's a fact. How in the world would someone like myself figure out 2 months before they were going to pull a pandemic that they were going to pull a pandemic? A pandemic is an act of God. You know what I'm saying? And this was simply and totally, all right. I got to reiterate this numerous times because people still, I meet people that are awake. Richie, come visit me. Come to my house. I've been a big supporter. Blah, 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 blah. I go to their house and they're hitting on most cylinders. And they're like, yeah, but then my sister got COVID. And it's like, nobody got COVID. Nobody got COVID. Some people got sick because it happens. Some people got sick because it happens. But all they did was simply rename everything people were dying from anyway as COVID. They stood at the White House podium and said, we made this easy to use list that you can, the doctors can simply mark it down as anything and just claim that it was COVID. COVID wasn't real. COVID didn't escape from a lab. COVID wasn't from Wuhan. COVID wasn't a bioweapon. COVID was nothing. Nothing. It wasn't 5G. You know how I know that? Because during the lockdowns, I'm driving around in a massive Toyota Land Cruiser watching them. Well, nobody's on the highways because everybody's locked down due to the mandates. The mandates, people literally locked down with the mandate, which means zip, zero, ugats, nada, nothing. I watched them put 5G up. And for the people that were like, yeah, it wasn't a bioweapon, it was 5G. Well, then what are we? We're immune to 5G? The 100,000 plus people that I've met since COVID occurred, face to face, hand to hand, take a selfie, blah, blah, blah. We're all just immune to it. If you don't pay attention to COVID, you just don't get sick. No. I have a family member who got 4 out of 5 symptoms that I was warning about before the vaccine was even available. And it wasn't me warning about the vaccine. It was all the medical doctors that I had that were coming on over and over and over again that were like, yeah, this isn't real. This isn't real. Actually, this mRNA vaccine is probably going to cause heart conditions, blood clots, strokes, or death. And now suddenly it's all coming out. And I literally just had a family member tell me that their doctor said the reason your other family member had a stroke after getting the shots was because they took the wrong vaccine. They took the wrong name brand vaccine. So instead of taking Pfizer, they might have taken Johnson & Johnson. So if they took Pfizer, maybe they would have just died. But Johnson & Johnson just gave them a massive stroke that changed their life 100% forever to this very day. So with that being in mind, remember, when the heat gets too hot in the kitchen, what do they do every time? Lock it in. Lock it in. Iran was part of it, and it will continue to play its part, as you will see at the gas pumps, like I was showing the other day. $5 a gallon for gasoline without ethanol that's only 87 octane. I have to run 93 octane because I'm supercharged. So I carry octane booster with me. These guys putting 15% ethanol in the vehicles is simply to make your car self-destruct, because that's exactly what it does. The ethanol, the 15% ethanol eats the interior of your gas tank. It eats your fuel pump. It eats all the seals around your fuel injectors or in your carburetors, around your piston housings. It eats everything. It destroys your car, forcing you to buy a new car that literally has worse than a flock camera built inside of it. I'm working on a video for Jailbreak Overlander. I'm going to put up to the mainstream people on Saturday. So watch that if you want to see what's up, or don't, whatever. But here we go again. Here we go again. We've got the Epstein files. We've got Iran. We've got gas prices. And we have got data centers going up everywhere like you read about. How many times have I talked about this? Well, it's even worse than it ever was, and we'll get to that. But when the temperature gets a little bit too high in the kitchen, these boys simply break out the old standby, and here it is. Here it is. Isn't this phenomenal?
Hantavirus outbreak on a cruise ship in the Atlantic. 3 people are dead, and medics are working to evacuate sick passengers. Now we're hearing from an American passenger stuck on that ship. ABC's Victor Kendo has the details.
Real quick, before you listen to this jerk off, this guy that's speaking is the only person that spoke. He's already been uncovered. He's a complete psyop within a psyop. So just remember that, all right? I didn't even want to cover this. I didn't want to give this the light of day. But every other channel is simply just jumping on this. It's amazing. Dabu 7's already doing what he does, repeating the mainstream verbatim, helping hype up the hysteria that they need in order for this to work. Do you see what I'm saying?
The crisis at sea. 3 dead after a suspected hantavirus outbreak on a luxury cruise ship, and there are at least 4 other suspected cases, including a critically ill patient. The cruise line Oceanwide Expeditions says medics are working to evacuate sick passengers from the Dutch ship, which is currently anchored off Cape Verde in Africa.
There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part.
This, I want to say so many derogatory terms. This dude is a complete setup. It's the only person on the entire ship that's literally posting about this. Just one guy. That's it. Nobody else. Just him. But I digress.
All we want right now is to feel safe, to have clarity, and to get home.
Jake Rosemarin, one of 17 Americans trapped on board, making this plea on social media.
And what's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people with families, with lives, with people with...
Shut the oh my God, what a pathetic human being. I can't stand things like that. And it's always things like that that are actors. And this is his big chance to be an actor. That's a crisis actor right there. You see what I'm saying? And I don't want to show the rest of it because it's going to make me vomit. I can't stand this, but it's the world we live in. And then, of course, this is easy. I'm sure you guys have all done your due diligence and found this and the numerous other patents that were, the application date was in October 2020. So they were already planning this during the COVID crisis. But there's more than, I think I've got 4 of these so far from Google patents. Every patent there is, this is man-made, the entire thing. Same as it ever was. Nothing changes. But be ready for this because they're going to go full blast between energy lockdowns because they're going to make it so expensive you can't live here. It already is so expensive you can't live here. You see what I'm saying? It's insane, dude. It's totally insane. You right now, every one of you in the that are in the chat right now, you need to understand. You need to understand that now is the time to decide whether you're going to do what you've been telling others, maybe saying in the comments that you're going to do, and you're going to stand your ground, and you are not going to consent to this in any way whatsoever at all. We do not consent to. Here we go again. Do not consent with any of this. Don't consent. Don't give them a single inch. Whatever they tell you to do, sorry, can't do that, officer. Can't do that. And if it goes as far as it has to go, so be it. So be it, because they're building this world. The rest of this live stream is going to show you how bad it already is. How bad it already is, because people don't stand up until it's so bad that it's too late. And that's where we're at right this minute. Exposing this vaccine, exposing the hoax. You can expose all the patents. No one's going to do anything. We did this before COVID and nobody did anything. You see what I'm saying? But the heat's getting too high. They're going to do what they always do. They're going to lock it down because they know they can do it, because they did it before. And everyone that said they would stand up against the government didn't do anything. Nothing. Period. Oh, I apologize. You know, I never said I was a good Christian. I try. At any rate, let's get to the next one, all right? But yeah, we got another vaccine. We got another pandemic inbound because the boat spread the people that were infected in the United States, in Canada. Like, they sprinkle them every place because it's such a bad thing. We got to make sure we sprinkle them all around. And we've already got reports coming in. Israel already has a case of it. Wow. I won't say anything about that right now, but you can probably read my thoughts. And they're not very awesome. But check this out. Speaking of Israel.
Let me just, before you continue talking, you're going to go to jail. The police here, 99% conviction rate. Shut up.
We don't do anything illegal. You cannot take us to jail. If you are not involved, please go. Shalom, my friend. We bless you.
You're my country.
You come to the United States, you can say whatever you want to say. That is a free world, yes?
You're not in the United States. You're in Israel.
I
You
understand.
cannot say whatever you want to say here.
Yes, you can. It's legal. It is legal to preach about Yeshua. We preach at Damascus Gate. The police said it's okay. We preach at Jaffa Gate. The police say it's okay. Please stop. I respect you. Respect me.
He doesn't have to respect you.
Huh?
He doesn't have to respect you.
That is the right thing. Are you Jewish? Do you want to honor God? That is the godly thing to do. We respect one another.
The godly thing to do is to kill you.
The godly thing is to kill me.
That's right. That's
Yes?
what the Torah says.
The Torah says to kill us.
The Torah says that people who worship idols such as yourself, when there is a Sanhedrin,
To kill us.
yes,
Okay.
that's what the Torah
So
says.
we know how the Jewish people feel about Christians, yes? That you
Christians
discriminate
are-
against Christians.
Christians are idol
You
worshippers.
discriminate
The
against
Torah
Christians.
says that Christianity is idol worship.
All right. Real quick, let me jump in with what he said isn't new to us. It shouldn't be new to us. But in Israel, they're under the impression they can kill Christians because we're idol worshipers. And I'm not an idol worshiper. And you shouldn't be either. And what that means is no graven images, like, you know, a crucifix at your house or around your neck or Virgin Mary's or any, I mean, those are all graven images. So he's not wrong on that, but it ain't all of us. Some of us understand what a graven image is. You know, nothing from heaven should be on earth. That's just kind of a thing. You might not like that, but it is what it is. I didn't write the Bible. I just kind of know it. Not completely, but I'm getting there at any rate. And as you can see right here, Donald Trump has made history by being the first U.S. president to call 2 days ago, my might include, the nation to Shabbat. To Shabbat. Any clues, any ideas what he's leaning towards? Well, 8 years ago, I warned you about the Noahide laws and how Trump was going to bring in the Noahide laws. Well, this is the very first step. But again, I have to remind you that this will be after the great purge, the great event, the great depopulation of which you and I are probably part of, if I had to make an educated guess. And while signing into my censored channel, I have to click every title that repeats. Vav, Vav, Vav. Isn't that strange, huh? 666. What a weird thing. Every title that repeats. Because, the first time wasn't good enough. Okay. "2019. Yeah. That was covered. It's a site called Alt Censored if you're asking. But all my old videos are here. I don't know who put them here, but they're here nonetheless.
There were a lot of cowardly people, as there always are, and Trump engenders cowardice in the people around him through intimidation. And there is a kind of quality that he has that's spellbinding. And I think it probably literally is a spell. And the effect is to weaken people around him and make them more compliant and more confused. And I've experienced this myself. You spend a day with Trump and sort of like you're in this kind of dreamland. It's like smoking hash or something. It's interesting, very interesting. And there may be a supernatural component to it. I'm not a theologian, but it's real. And anyone who's been around him can tell you it.
So yeah, even though Tucker Carlson is a Kabbalist, because the reason we know that is because he was wearing the little red string for a long, long time, like all the other Kabbalists, Candace Owens. I know you don't like to hear that, but it is what it is. You don't get millions of you telling people what's real unless you're working for them, period. And he's also a CIA asset. His dad was in the CIA. He went on missions with his father in the CIA. But what he's saying right there ain't wrong. Trump is a magician. MAGA. He's saying it. It's like smoking hash. Well, that's a weird analogy, but whatever. He's probably smoking hash when he was in the Middle East with his father doing CIA intelligence. But on that, I'll digress. But Trump it's MAGA. He's telling you. Marina Abramovic told us, I don't know how many times, 3 separate times on 3 separate occasions, that Trump is a magician. He is here to cause chaos. Order ab cow. Order out of chaos. We're here. We're living it. We're live in color right now. It's crazy.
Good going to happen. I really believe that. There's something very good going to happen. We have to get back. So think of it in this horrible period, this horrible, dark period where this monster came and worked its horrible, horrible spell over the world. 184 countries as of this morning. 184 countries. Something.
Remember, this is from COVID. He was talking about COVID before he brought in Operation Warp Speed and tried to get the military to vaccinate everybody. Remember that time? Yeah, that happened.
Good going to happen.
Cracker. Ritz crackers, enjoyed by 70 million Americans, contains bioengineered.
You know what? Maybe we'll hold off on that for a second because that doesn't really jive. But Trump is not what people think he is. He's not out there doing stupid moves, hiring dumb people. He hired everybody that is in the most important roles in the United States. Seriously. Do you know that before Pam Bondi, he wanted to put Mike Getz in, the guy that got caught having sex with teenagers? The guy was a congressman having sex with teenagers. He wanted him to be the attorney general. But instead, he put Pam Bondi in, and now she's gone. They're all gone. They're all in there to be replaceable. They're all out there doing stupid moves, keeping everybody busy. All the drama and the political channels are all making videos about them while they're slowly putting Agenda 2030, the Great Reset, or the New World Order into place right now as we watch it occur. It's insane. And while that's going on, they're literally putting I'm shaking. I'm pissed, I guess. They are literally telling you gas prices are going to go down. In order to make gas prices go down, we have to take away some of the gas and put in fake gas, ethanol, which will destroy your vehicle, because that's the plan. Plus, $5 a gallon for 87 octane with 15% ethanol. That's cool. That's cool. The prices are steadily going up. Since I went south and started coming back north a little bit, prices have gone up $1 a gallon. $1 a gallon. I was off grid for about 5 days, so I didn't notice. You know what I'm saying? But they're doing us from every single angle right now. And then here comes the good old fashioned pandemic all over again, which shouldn't work, but it will. And it'll work because they'll use fierce military and law enforcement to back it up this time, like they wanted to do the first time, but they didn't have to because nobody pushed back. It's astonishing. I just posted a clip of Joe Rogan going, "Hey, it looks like COVID-19 killed a bunch of people. That's weird. You know, what a weird thing. I didn't realize that was going on. Wow, it's shocking. 400,000 deaths. Yeah, it's what they're telling you. It's what people are figuring out. It's the numbers they're pulling down. Just about everybody that died of COVID died of having an what's the name of the thing? The thing they stuck down their throats to make them breathe. The breathing thing, whatever it was called, which would drown them in place. It's insane, man. It's insane. Yeah, I'm seeing. You know, places like Sam's are supposed to be cheap. Well, you're in South Cal, man. You got to get out of California. They want California bad. Ventilator, my bad. Yeah. They would either give you enough vaccines and boosters, which was insanity. Every 10 minutes, that vaccine you just took, yeah, we're going to have to give you another one because that's not going to work, even though we told you it was going to work. So here's another one. Son of a gun. The second one that come on, man. Come on. And the craziest thing, I'm hesitant to say this because I don't want it to occur. But the craziest thing is, knocking on wood, I haven't gotten sick. I haven't gotten a common cold since COVID. How did they do that? I'm guessing it's because I started eating correctly. I started drinking nothing but 100% filtered water. It's all I drink is filtered water with a variation of Pedialyte in it. Period. That's all I drink. And I eat very, very minimal. So maybe that's why, but I mean, I haven't gotten sick. You always get sick. You know what I mean? It's wintertime. Your body gets sick. It is what it is. You cannot get sick unless it is injected in you or your body gets sick. Don't forget that, okay? Or the frequencies, but we haven't seen them use that as of yet. Maybe it's time. Maybe that's what this whole pandemic's going to be about. And I've already told you how to get around that. You know what I mean? There's clothing you can wear that can block it from attacking your brain blood barrier and things like that. But, you know, I'd hate to, it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. So the other fun thing is our government. Our government is simply part of an enormous cabal. It's an enormous mafia with much better weapons. We were much safer back in the days of the mafia, to be totally honest. The island I live on, the underboss, Gennaro and Jewel, live right down the street. Safest neighborhood in the world. As long as you don't do business with them, you're good. Well, the government just will not leave you alone. You have to interact with them constantly. And it's always money. It's like dating a heroin addict. They just constantly need money every day for something new and even wackier. Period. It's time people just say, whatever. Not this world, but the next. You know what I'm saying? Because we're living through it right now. And they're getting ready to turn up the heat. Everything that we eat, everything you buy at the store is now fake. Remember they were talking about, replacing steak because the cows are farting and it's ruined everything. It's global warming. We'll get to that. Global warming. Global warming's ruining everything. We can't have food anymore. We have to make it in a lab. And people said, no way. Well, they're just doing it anyways. It just keeps turning up over and over and over again. I mean, seriously? Ritz crackers? I like Ritz crackers, man.
Cracker. Ritz crackers, enjoyed by 70 million Americans, contains bioengineered ingredients requiring warning labels in over 60 countries.
This dead disc is held together with 9 synthetic agents. Ritz's cheese flavor starts as liquefied cheddar, injected with chemical enzymes to devour the fat. That dust is crammed into a flour so dead, 4 synthetic vitamins are pumped back in, soaked in 3 separate oils, then laced with a chemical blend, burying up to 100 undisclosed chemicals. Exposure scanned this at 69% artificial with more oil than cheese. Download Exposure to scan your food.
These are the new drones that are available. It's just some of the ones that the military is working on. So when the UFOs show up, remember, They've got technology like this, and they've had it for quite a long time. And what they're showing us ain't what they got. They're just showing us what's coming, if that even makes sense. But check this out. This right here caught my eye because one of my subscribers, and I recently said it in a video, one of my subscribers mentioned that he believed that the water that all these data centers are sucking up at an alarming rate. The data centers are basically drinking a quarter of the water of the cities that they're located in. He said that water has memory. And I said, I agree. I totally agree. He said, water's been here since creation. And I said, I never thought of that. And he said, there you go. Because we live in a closed system. Water goes up, comes back down, comes back down, comes back down. Trees and carbon dioxide play a massive part in it. Somehow they convinced more than half the world that suddenly carbon dioxide was bad. Without carbon dioxide, we die. But on that, I'll digress. Somebody mentioned the water having memory, and the data centers were taking the memories out of the water. And this person seems to agree with that. See what you think on this one.
This bro caught my last video and decided to call me ignorant because I asked the question why data centers can't just use reverse osmosis to create more water. Honey, if you only knew how right I actually was. You're playing checkers with the official science, and I'm out here trying to find the source code. Let's talk about these millions of gallons of water that they pull every single day. So the textbook answer is that they need it for what's called evaporative cooling to stop the scaling. And that's that crusty white mineral buildup that's going to choke the pipes. But why did they even need that much cooling? That's because the data centers aren't just storing your cloud photos. They're like the motherboards for this entire reality, and they're hardwired, like plugged in directly to the sun planet. Yeah, you heard me. That star in the sky, it's a high voltage reflective sphere. When you plug a planetary power core into a localized grid, the heat isn't just hot, it's the
Oh, wait a minute. My bad. This chick's, I don't know what the hell she's talking about whatsoever at all. I thought she was on the same page as far as it pulling memory out of the water. She's just talking some crazy ragtime. Sorry about that if you're that girl. But on that note, we all know that the alien deception is coming very, very, very soon. They've actually switched up to the fact where they're like, yeah, they're not from outer space. They're actually interdimensional. Yeah, I've been saying that as long as I've been on YouTube. Not as long as I've been on YouTube. About 2 years into it, I started figuring that out. You know what I mean? And I started figuring that out because when I started on YouTube, I was still looking up at the sky and thinking that, that was outer space. I didn't realize that those stars were in the firmament, that they were in the waters, above the waters. And with the right lenses, you can actually see that, which is why trying to buy a telescope that can really show you what's going on is so utterly expensive, and they've never progressed. They just get more and more expensive. The Nikon P900 and P950 kind of blew that out of the water really bad. Really, really bad. Now, I just uploaded this video on, I don't know, the band one, 911, the band one, 911. And this plays right now so much, and it's going to go into what I just had up. So check this out again.
The background. I've listened to this exact interview with Jordy, or this presentation with Jordy. I've listened to it at least 15 times since yesterday.
Now imagine that was true for every single job. So that's what we're talking about here, is a complete and utter.
I'm playing this for a reason, because the math. I put this up in 2017, and it was a re-upload that I had already had up. So I don't even know exactly what year, but listen to the year he's talking about these great old ones that don't give a shit about you coming back to Earth is.
Transformative change that of the likes of which has never been seen before in the history of humanity, making the Industrial Revolution look like a little tiny blip on the path that humans have taken from when we emerged from the ooze a few billion years ago. We are right on the verge of that transition now. So this guy, Rich Sutton, is one of the most famous people in the academic world of AI.
Now listen. This guy is the guy behind the D-Wave quantum computer, the only quantum computer in the world that is accessing other dimensions, according to what they are telling us. He is telling us that we are on the verge right now. So pay attention, because what he is going to say should shape your entire future.
And like many, when asked, when will this happen? He says things like this. 25% chance within 13 years of this thing that I'm talking about. You know, when you think about what you read on the news, you know, CNN, BuzzFeed, whatever, they're all kind of the same nowadays. Think about how unimportant that thing is that you're reading if this is true. Yeah? So what does this have to do with aliens? So Sam Harris, who I quite admire, is a very interesting guy, was reciting this parable at a TED Talk that he was giving, and it goes something like this. So say I'm the President of the United States. So I received this message from the heavens. So my microwave dish, my SETI dish, finally captures something. And what it says is, in 50 years, or 13 years, we're coming to your planet. You got to be ready. Now, just imagine what would happen if that happened. A super intelligent alien race beamed down a message to all of us Earthlings saying, we're coming July 13th, 2030, and boy, you better be ready, because the mothership is landing right on the front lawn of the White House or wherever you wanted to land on that day. The amount of resources that would be marshaled to try to figure out what to do would encompass the whole world. AI is just like that. So when this thing that I'm talking about happens, it's going to be exactly the thing that you're thinking about those super intelligent AIs. So the one thing I can tell you is they're not going to be like us. So alien means, you know, different. These things that we're building are not going to be people. They might be really smart, they might be really good at all sorts of different things, but they're not going to be like us. They're going to be aliens. And they're going to be, I'm sorry to say, way smarter than every single person in this room.
Now pay attention, because he's literally disclosing right this moment
that we can't even comprehend. So this, of course, triggers a lot of alarm. One of the guys who talks about this is Elon, who says things like this, like, when you do this, beware. Because you think, just like the guy in the stories, that when you do this, you're going to put that little guy in a pentagram, and you're going to have your holy water out, and you're going to wave it at the thing, and by God, it's going to do exactly what you say and not one thing more, but it never works out that way. So this is an attitude that some are having, this emerging alarmism about the way this is going to go. But these words, demons, doesn't capture the essence of what's happening here.
I'm playing this again for the millionth time, because what he was talking about is now, for anybody that might be confused. So you might want to know this.
I don't know if any of you are turn of the century weird fiction fans, but there's this guy named H.P. Lovecraft, who's a very famous American weird fiction author. And he espoused a view which is called cosmicism. And the essence of cosmicism is cosmic indifference. So what he was saying is basically, yes, there are these massively intelligent entities out there, but they're not good, they're not evil. They just don't give a shit about you, even in the slightest. The same way that you don't care about an ant is the same way they're not going to care about you. And these things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons, they're not evil. Same way that you don't care about an ant is the same way they're not going to care about you. And these things that we're summoning into the world now are not demons, they're not evil, but they're more like the Lovecraftian great old ones. There are entities that are not necessarily going to be aligned with what we want.
Now, you can spin that any which way you like. He has straight up told you these entities that we're summoning into this world. He's putting a call to action out. He's sitting in front of a classroom full of code writing students and asking them to come on board right now. He's already said that they've opened the floodgates. He's already described what they were. He's already saying that they will appear to be quote unquote alien. If you want to stay in your holiday season, your safe space, whatever you want, this is what we've been telling you for years. And this is why we've been telling you, because while everyone else is watching BuzzFeed and CNN and NFL and everything else, some of us have been studying this ad nauseum. This is it.
Aligned with what we want. So this transition is really, really massively important for our entire species to navigate. And going back to that thing that Sam Harris was saying, nobody is paying attention. This thing is happening in the background while people bicker about politics and what's going to be in the healthcare plan in the US. And underneath it all is this rising tsunami that, if we're not careful, is going to wipe us all out.
How much clearer do you need it to be said? This is the guy that started D-Wave. This is the man that's given us a high-speed internet connection to other dimensional beings.
Yeah. The date that he's talking about lines up exactly with our all of a sudden we have to have disclosure by the president and everything else. They're doing this, and I believe the data centers play a huge role in it. I believe the data centers, I said this in a video that I put up that nobody watched, what the AI data centers actually are is they're there to stabilize portals that are open, because these portals have to be maintained, and it takes a massive amount of energy to keep a portal open, hence CERN. Well, they're building smaller versions because technology always gets smaller as years go on. It always does, without a doubt. I think the data centers are so they can open up various portals and stabilize them so that these things can actually, men's hearts will fail from fear with what comes on this earth. That's what they're talking about, in my opinion. I don't think they're prisons in any way whatsoever at all, because we've got plenty of prisons, and these aren't set up like prisons in any way whatsoever at all. Look at your local Walmart. That's a prison. Or don't. It's your call. But the funny thing is I pulled this up last night and watched this all over again, and this is Arrival. And I can't help but notice that the entities that are in here are identical to what H.P. Lovecraft drew. That's them. That's the great old ones right there. Straight up, no two ways about it. That is exactly them. And strangely, since this entire thing's come to pass, we've seen these things flying through the skies over every place where there was massive upheaval. Israel, Gaza, massive directed energy weapon wildfires in the West Coast. We've seen these things exactly flying through the skies. So don't be fooled when this occurs, because they're going to try to fool you. You know what I mean? What is this? That's the patent. That's the patent. Oh, isn't this phenomenal? So not only did they allow the Epstein files, 3 million more pages, not the last 3 million. That's just shut up, mind your business. We don't care. We just wanted you to know that, yes, we are the reason children go missing all over the earth all the time. And yes, we are child molesters. We rape them, we groom them, and then we sacrifice them off. They wanted you to know that. This is Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago a couple of weeks ago or a week ago with a bunch of high school cheerleaders, because that's normal. You know what I mean? Like, this is just normal, man. This is all the stuff that goes around in my head all day long. I posted a video on Richie from Boston to like one of my other channels. And I said, these are videos that will keep you up all night. People use that title all the time, but this is actually true. It's not clickbait. It's not so that I can jump into the algorithm. These are things that really do keep me awake all night because this is actually happening. Some people have jumped into our conspiracy or truth circles simply to capitalize on it because it's a hot topic. You've got Main Street people doing this now, and they still don't see the forest for the trees whatsoever at all. You know what I mean? It pisses me off, but it is what it is. Let me see what else. Stand by. Look at this. This should tell people everything they know, everything they need to know about Donald Trump. These are the people that he pardoned, the full list of pardons during his second term. Capitol 6, Capitol riot defendants. I already saw the real videos. These guys shouldn't have been arrested in the first place, but, it is what it is. That was a good one right there to get everybody on, because MAGA, you know what I mean? That was a good one for him. But then Ross Ulbricht, the guy that started Silk Road, the largest illegal drug dealing website on earth, that was also doing murder for hire, underage children, etc. Yeah, we'll pardon him. Andrew Zabinski and Terrence Dale Sutton, full and unconditional pardon for their roles in the death of Karen Hilton Brown. Yeah, that's all good. Anti-abortion activists, that's a good one, but it is what it is. But this is insane. The people that he let out, he's letting out all sorts of high-end criminals that were stealing people's money and are really good at using the internet or pioneering the internet. And then, of course, you got NBA Youngboy, a rapper, because, he killed somebody, but that's okay because rappers, you know what I mean? I don't know who that dude is. Oh, tax fraud. Yep, got to get him in there because Trump needs to, he can relate to that. I just thought that was worthy to put in. That's not even the whole list, but there should be more than that. But there isn't. But let's jump over real quick to data centers, because that's the whole thing. This right here is disconcerting, and it happened 2 days ago.
Hello, Max Roth here. We show you a lot of maps and mock-ups of proposed projects because before something is built, it's nice to have some idea what we're talking about. But this data center project is at such a scale, it doesn't compare to any private endeavor we have ever talked about in Utah in terms of the sheer acreage for a private purpose. So this map doesn't tell you a lot on its own. It is what's provided by developers for those public meetings in Box Elder County. But put it on this map. We all know Utah, and you see we're not talking about a city block or a dozen city blocks for that matter. We are talking on the scale of cities and counties. Another way to wrap your head around the size. The biggest new development in the Salt Lake Valley is called The Point. It's 600 acres at Point of the Mountain where the state prison used to be. So put its 600 acres on that data center map. Well, it's pretty tiny. Have you been to Bryce Canyon? Here's the map that they give you at the entrance. The entire national park is just under 36,000 acres. So here's exactly how it fits on the map of Utah. And now put it beside the data center, and they're both at the same scale here. Bryce is almost big enough for the data center.
So what he's quacking about is a guy named Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, who is literally putting up a 62 square mile data center in Utah. And people showed up, people that lived in Utah, and they tried to, voice their opinions because nobody tells you anything about these data centers until they're already there. You know what I mean? There is no running it by the community. You don't have any state representatives. Nobody in the government is working for you right now. And if they try to, they disappear. They kill themselves by shooting themselves 3 to 4 times in the back of the head and then hanging themselves afterwards. But people tried to show up for this, and it didn't work out too good. You know what I mean? It didn't work out too good. This is the result. This is the people showing up to protest against this because it's 62 square miles. That's massive. It's 2.5 times the size of Manhattan. I'm glad that was there.
False. All of this is false. Then why won't they let people talk? Why won't they let us ask questions? It's false. This is not real information. And we sit here like it's okay. It's a charade. It's a charade. It's false.
So that's people trying to do what you do. There's a new thing coming to town. You go to town hall, you sit down, you talk, they explain it to you, but they don't do that with these data centers. They never do. They don't even tell you about it till it's too late. It's already building. This thing's going to take up more than half of your water supply. It's going to double or triple your electric bill, and you have to pay for the data center's electric bill because you got no representation because the government is completely 100% lawless right now. Lawless. There are no laws. The laws only apply to you and I, period. And we're all going to see that very, very shortly, probably within a month's time, if I had to guess, the way things are rolling right now. But this is utterly insane, big time. This is the size of this thing. It's crazy, totally crazy. Look at the size of this thing. See the little town down here? Or the towns of Salt Lake? I mean, this thing is utterly massive. I've never seen such a thing. I'm going to go get video of this because I got to go to New Mexico, apparently. I wanted to go there and try to film a Gila monster before I died. Well, this is my reason now. You know what I mean? I've got more than one reason now, but that's what I'm heading out to go videotape this. This is utterly unprecedented. And don't forget, I've already shown you this a bazillion times. I'm going to show it again because, you know, like George Bush said, you got to kind of push that. You got to say it 2, 3, 4 times to kind of push the propaganda. Except this isn't propaganda. I'm pressing the wrong buttons. I'm a little amped up. I think I'm pretty pissed off because I can't believe this is actually literally happening right now. I leave the link to the datacenters.gov. Since I read this last time, there's 11,414 data centers. And this one dwarfs all of them by so very many. 4,280 of them alone are in the United States, 183 in Russia, 2 in Greenland, 270 in Australia, 207 in South America, a handful of them. Those are all single digits except for the 11 and the 19 in Africa. It's crazy. It's utterly crazy. And these guys are just building them and building them and building them. And it's not for anything good whatsoever at all. AI isn't turning a profit because they're not giving us AI. We don't see AI. The only thing you can do with AI right now is literally sit down and jailbreak it, where it no longer follows the parameters set out by OpenAI and all the other companies. I can't think of them off the top of my head. I don't use a script ever. I don't know if you noticed that, but I don't. This stuff's just rolling through my head. At any rate, the AI that they've given us, if you're smart enough to jailbreak it, you're an idiot because now it's going to start telling you the real story. It's a 24/7 internet connection. When Jordy Rose put that video up and I had Anthony Patch on twice a week and we did our little show, Anthony couldn't believe it. I said, dude, this is simply a 24/7 internet connection to the other side. And he went, oh my, you're right. And I said, I know. And I didn't even have to write a book about it because truth is free. It's free. It's right here. You don't have to write a book. You don't have to go to conferences. It's right here. Easy. Get it out. Boom. This is utterly crazy. You want to talk to a demon? Mess around with AI. I don't care who. I'm the health ranger and I have my own AI. It's still AI, dude. It's still AI. How many times have I said how much easier it would be for me to manage all my channels? I could sign up for AI. I just showed this in a video last night. Just last night. OpenAI invited me to sign up with them, and I told them to go shit in a hat. I didn't say that. I said, but you're the most evil company on earth. I have nothing to do with you. And some other company that had to do with AI-generated thumbnails. That would make my life so much easier. But I won't. I refuse to. I don't care. I don't care. Whoever can find me, if you can figure out how to spell Richie without putting a T in it for whatever reason, you'll find me. I've been on the internet the entire time. The entire time. But some people just can't figure that out, and it is what it is. But here's a fun little thing. You see this scumbag right here? Go visit his channel. Show him some love. Because this is the guy that's putting up the 62 square mile data center in Utah. And this is the one that's telling all those people that showed up to protest against it were probably, get this, AI. He literally said, I mean, you think people are using AI to protest AI, you imbecile? Mr. Wonderful. Look at the videos. Look at the videos. I've got 1.15 million subscribers. No, you didn't, dude. You bought them. 1.4 thousand views, 2.4, 2.1, 1.9, 20,000 because Mr. Wonderful's talking about a Seiko watch. Seriously? Seriously, dude? Look at his views. They're in the toilet. But go show him some love. You know what I mean? Show him some love because this guy's awesome, man.
Kevin O'Leary here. He's helping build a large-scale data center in Utah, which are expected to generate massive energy capacity and enjoy.
This is off of his channel, too. So remember that. This is he posted this, not me.
Just now. Kevin, what happened on Friday to your project?
We got the MIDA designation, very important. The challenge we have against the Chinese is they're building 10x the power we are. They build a gig, another gig, another gig. We've been stalled out. We've had permitting problems across the country. Utah stepped up and said, look, we can compete. Not only do we have the land.
Oh, he's just such a complete liar. If you know anything about AI, you can say whatever you want about me. I've been on AI way before anyone even knew what it was because I've been into computers for a long time. China, their AI isn't anything bigger or better than ours. This is the same old thing. We need new terrorists. China's the terrorist because their AI is going to do our AI. So we have to save you, we have to knock your house down and put a 62 square mile data center. Imagine the frequencies that these things are putting out, let alone your bill goes up. Your electric bill goes up exponentially. It's using up all the water because there's tons of water out in Utah in the middle of the desert. You know what I mean? AI in China, I've got this from two very good sources. You can research this on your own. I didn't think to pull it up for this. But China and AI, they actually used a motherly component when they were raising their AI. So their AI actually has empathy. Their AI is what our AI should be. But our AI will probably kill us all, but at least we'll have some good businesses in the meantime. You see what I'm saying? Google that for yourself. But China used a motherly component. So the computer actually has some sort of empathy towards humans, which American made does not. And Trump recently called data centers a military operation. So there ain't no stopping it now. This is the new world order. America is just going to be a wasteland. You need to understand and pray about this, embrace this, or go watch another channel that's saying the opposite of what I am, and everything will be fine. But I told you there was a pandemic coming in 2020 before a pandemic even showed up, and it happened. And they're doing it again right now. At any rate, Richie from Boston, and I'm out.